Hello and welcome to another side play. Me, GamerWolfSix of 1000 Yards, a game that I did a quick look of, and it said it's short, so I was like, we'll continue to do it. See what kind of conclusion it will be, which could either be like, oh, hey, he actually did kind of run away and stuff like that, or maybe he's, no longer with us and we get kind of closure, or maybe none at all. But yeah, the gist of the quick look was that the main character's twin brother went missing, and we don't know what happened to him. They found his backpack like a day or so later, and then months later found his keys. Then just, snippets as time goes on from like a day to the next day to a week later, a month, and half a year. But yeah, hopefully we'll, I don't know, we'll see. And if you want to play this game, it's available free on itch.io. So reset face and begin. Though again, this might be extremely short, don't know how long it is. January 10th, 2005. Half a year later, I guess? This feels familiar. I sit on the couch, in our family room, my parents flanking either side of me. My father holds a pen in his hand, which he props open and closed. Open and closed. I have the same fidget. Detective Roach stands in front of us, the manila folder in his hand, as usual. The old detective is gone. He retired about a month or two back. He's been replaced by Detective Moreland, a tall, intimidating doe who looms behind Roach like a bouncer at a club. Instead of the warm summer sun, the town outside is covered in a white blanket of fresh snow. Detective Roach sits down in the armchair across from us, I guess in an attempt to make it seem more casual, like a more casual chat. How have you all been holding up? It takes all my strength not to laugh at that question. Mother responds though. We're getting through it. Good. He scratches his chin. This investigation has aged him, or he's just very tired. His fur lacks the luster it had last summer. His eyes always look dark. I don't blame him. I get really tired of investigating stuff like this too. This is never a good conversation to have. I feel my father tense up. Did you find something? No. Detective Roach shakes his head. It's the opposite. We haven't found a credible lead since we found his keys by Green Lake. All of the sightings are hoaxes, either intentionally or unintentionally. Every avenue we go down dries up. He leans forward, resting his elbows on his knees. A weak smile graces his face. His eyes squint. It may be time to come to terms with the idea that we may never find out what happened to Tom. My father sucks in tight breath. No. Ken. Mother looks around me, searching over and placing her hand on top of my father's. He yanks his hand away and stares at her like she's just spoken in tongues. Ken, we have to accept this. I'm not giving up on Tom. His voice wavers and cracks. He's out there somewhere. Mr. Yoshimitsu. Detective Roach shakes his head. You can continue to believe, and that's okay. But the fact of the matter is, it's been almost 6 months since Tom disappeared. Most of the time, when someone goes missing, they're found very soon after. At this point, statistically, it's extremely unlikely that he'll be found alive. If he's found at all. I did bring up the story, but like, I went to a small town for college, and I remember, like, when I got there, there was a whole bunch of, like, have you seen this person thing? Because someone went missing, and, they were eventually found dead, and it turned out it was the boyfriend, but it took, like, maybe half a year or a year for them to find it. Or her. My father doesn't say anything else. He just hunches over the couch, burying his face in his hands. He shivers, and I wrap an arm around him. I don't want to cry. I have some resources for you. He reaches forward and hands me a manila folder. I open it up. There are a number of pamphlets and flyers inside. On the top says, National Mission Families Association, in large letters. 2 foxes are hugging on the cover. There are business cards for therapists based out of Hazard and local support groups for families who have lost children. These are some support groups, therapists, and networks for people who have gone through similar experience to yours. They have been very effective, and even if Tom's found, the trauma of experiencing a disappearance can linger for a long time. My mother takes one of the pamphlets and begins looking over it. She nods. Thank you. Does this mean you won't look for him anymore? It's my father. His voice shakes, and he wipes his eyes over and over. Detective Roach shakes his head. No, we'll always keep the case open. He cannot be declared dead in absentia until he's been gone for about 7 years, so we aren't meant to defeat. The FBI will keep his picture and case on VICAP, and we will always we will always remain open for years or whatever. It's anything but case closed. It's just this is a small police department, and we don't have the manpower to dedicate to this case anymore, unfortunately. The fox's voice trails off as he speaks. He realizes that my father has begun to weep louder. The young detective knows he can't tell us no, but we understand what he's saying. They have given up. Our living room is quiet again. Detective Roach sits there for a few minutes as we weep. Soon he understands and gets up. We'll be heading out now. We'll call you if we get any more credible tips. If you hear anything, or need anything in general, our doors are always open to you. The 3 of us nod in numb unison. My mother broke down to sobs as soon as the front door shut behind him. By the time of this conversation, my father had convinced himself of all sorts of awful things happening to Tom. We would hear about these over dinner. He was tortured, in a basement chained to a boiler, caged, sealed in a box, starving, hidden under rotted out floorboards. So basically Echo. This was his way of coping, I suppose, with the disappearance. If you believe those things, Tom was still alive. Broken and battered, but alive, and that was enough for him. After this, however, his resolve was destroyed. He came to accept that what my mother accepted long ago. My parents broke the news to me a few weeks later. They would remain together until I graduated, and after that, they were going to split. My mother said she would remain here in Miller's Gap, whilst my father had arranged for a visiting professorship at Occidental outside of Los Angeles. In hindsight, it was not very surprising. Without Tom, the balance had already begun to change, and with me gone entirely for college, they would be like a rudderless ship. Jack and I broke up around this time as well, in mid-February. I had become too emotionally distant, too cold for him. That relationship wouldn't have survived college anyways. He was staying in Kentucky, and I would be across the country in California. My grandfather passed away in March. I went to Los Angeles for the funeral, and it was nice. He was a devout Buddhist, so he was cremated. I was there for the bone picking, and I barely kept myself from throwing up. His urn sat next to the Buddha stone in my grandmother's house. Is that something Buddhists do? The rest of the semester passed in blur. I graduated, and Tom's seat was directly to my right. He had set up his cap and gown, and all graduation cords he was supposed to wear. When they called my name, and I walked across the stage, there was clapping from my family. When they called Tom's name right after, it was silent. Our principal handed me his honorary diploma. We've gotten to the point that doing anything to memorialize him feels alright, as the town has essentially given up on Tom ever returning. When I look out into the audience, the seat, covered by his cap and gown, sticks out like a sore thumb. It's staring at me. July 31st, 2005. I kind of went to see what would be the time that he left. Was it 1,000 yards? Yeah. It says at the top of the thing. July 18th, 2004. Okay, so it's over a year. A few days before I moved into my dorm at USC. Wait, was it 2005? My youth group from the... Oh, I guess it was graduating high school or something. Or, I don't know. Group from the First Baptist Church of Miller's Gap went on a hiking trip to Union Mountain. The trails were poorly marked, and it had rained the day before, so they ended up wandering off the path by accident. After about 30 minutes of walking, they happened across a corpse, which they had first believed to be some wildlife. Youth group, okay. Close inspection from the youth minister revealed their ursing bones, wrapped in a particularly rotted away street clothes. The forensics results came back the next day. It was Tom. His body was fully skeletonized. This meant, other than the crack in the back of his skull, the detectives had no clue what really happened to him or who did this. The assumption was that he was kidnapped, killed by a blow to the head, and dropped out in the wilderness, all within a few hours to a few days after he was taken. Case closed. When I want to make myself cry, I think about the Budapest kids singing "Footsteps of Jesus" as they march off the trail towards Golgotha. I think about how his broken, desecrated body was found about 1,000 yards from the Daniel Boone Parkway, a freeway used by hundreds of drivers each day. It was just a couple of football fields from salvation. By senior year, his number of passing yards during high school were all over that number. When I want to make myself cry, I think about them having to gather his bones and place them into a wooden casket with care. I think about how we did nearly the exact same thing for my grandfather months before. I think about my mother and father together once again, shifting through our photo albums stored in the cabinets beside our fireplace to find pictures for his funeral. I have to turn this down a smidge. I think about my grandmother taking the picture of Tom from the wall of photos of the living and placing it beside the Buddhistan in her living room alongside my grandfather's urn. When I want to make myself cry, I think about playlists playing against Ohio State my junior year and knowing that he should have been on that other team across the field on the other bench. I think about how our parents would have come together, my mother wearing OSU and father wearing USC, cheering us both on. I think about how, when we won, would have jogged over and he would have jagged over and congratulated me before saying he'd beat my ass next year. When I went to make myself cry, I think about coming back home to Miller's Gap 5 years later for my high school reunion and walking the same path he did on July 18th, 2004. I think about how if I just walked over the football field, he'd probably still be alive. I think about how he just the name of the scholarship offered to the student in town, giving it to a football player who also excels at academics. I'm not sure if I'm having a stroke or what. He's the specter told by parents to their kids to make sure they understand they have to be careful, that even a fully grown football player got taken and killed. This is the name of our high school's weightlifting facility. For high schoolers who ask who the hell what that was now, that he's begun to fade from this town's immediate consciousness. He's an attractive figure of writing, a mystery of perfect teenager in a perfect family, demolished. He's a figure thrown around for people to complain at city council meetings or on the internet about how dangerous the world has become. I think about how, when we found out about his corpse, only then did I begin to wonder how I would be able to go on living for decades without him. I think about those things, and it works. I weep. $1,000. Yeah. Ah, heck, it actually does come up on my... Sorry. Like, I don't know, like every now and then upstairs is a bit, I don't know, heavy on their feet. Uh, and it's a depressing thing where it's just like, and then, yeah, he's dead. Though he would have to have been kidnapped, because it would be kind of weird if, you know, he just decided to drop his backpack. I mean, I could maybe understand the keys maybe washing down from a hill, but then it's like, yeah, his keys are somewhere and then his body is somewhere else. Though I wonder if there's any sort of like, this is what happens. Yeah, I'm just looking at the things here. Do you click on... Okay, the spoilers, huh. Yeah, just like, okay, there's some, like, fucking murderer in this town, or was in this town, and they killed him, and then that's it. All they got is like, yep, we had a son, he disappeared, and his corpse is found a year later. And for, yeah, the story for, like, the place I used to live in was, like, the boyfriend was, like, a bad boyfriend, and killed her one night. Like, people that lived next to them heard an argument, and then, like, the cops a while later was like, hey, let's check out this person's yard, and they found the corpse in the yard. Which is just like, I mean, I guess, you know, the place that we lived in didn't have, like, lots of grass, or maybe it did, I don't know. But just like, I mean, at least they found her eventually and arrested him. But just like, yeah. So yeah, it was a short one. That's alright. I guess we just knock this one off the lista. Boop. What other ones do we have to do? Want to do? Let's see. Glory Hounds episode 2. Oh yeah. Intro to Sileo and other shelter timelines. Sugar Lane dates? Yeah, I guess I could do that at some point. The day hell went wrong, Sileo. Vessels. Vessels is gonna be put off for a while till we like do arches. And then I also need to put here, keep that thought in my head. I lost it. What was it? What was it? Oh yeah, lust, shards, equine, ooh. Basically, I was like, well, let's just see what happens if the main character, woos the guy, because, like, you know, and kind of spoilers, if you don't do it, he's like, oh, this isn't good. And then there's the, like, Coliseum thingy, and then something happened, I don't know. Anyways, end of this side play, so comment, cause I comment. To what you like, dislike, tips, otherwise, if you like me, YouTube and like Seek Girl, then please like, subscribe, and check out the epic Girl Leader, your Amos app, control the pet population. And again, if you wanted to play that game, it's available free on itch.io. And until next time, another side play. Me, GamerWolfSix, some of the game. So thanks and see ya.